When the government carries out an execution, the expectation is that the process will unfold exactly how it is supposed to, and nothing will go wrong. But sometimes things do go wrong. And sometimes they go so wrong that it causes the inmate severe pain and becomes cruel and unusual punishment. And when this happens, it's called a botched execution. An example of a very botched execution would be the execution of John Lewis Evans III, who caught on fire while he was being electrocuted in this exact chair. 33-year-old John Lewis Evans III was put to death in Alabama in 1983 for the 1977 murder of Edward Nassar. On January 5th of 1977, John and another man named Wayne Eugene Ritter walked into a pawn shop where Edward was working. They asked to see a gun that was in the display case, and when it was handed over to Wayne, he started to load bullets into it while John held Edward at gunpoint. Edward immediately ducked behind the counter and tried to run away, but by the time he got to his office, John had shot and killed him. At his trial, John showed zero emotions and zero remorse for what he had done, and he actually just straight up told the jury that he would absolutely do it again. When he testified on stand, this was his exact statement. "My name is John Lewis Evans, and on January the 5th, I was involved in the crime of Eddie Nassar. I am also the one that did pull the trigger and shoot and kill him during the commission of a felony, a robbery. Our whole trip was based on robbery, kind of a spree. It was well planned, and I've been in crime a long time. Before you go back in there, the only thing I've got to say to the jury is that I've been at it a long time, and if you don't come back with a death sentence, which is the only other thing I think you can come out with, I'm going to get out and I'm going to do it again. There's not any question whatsoever. I have no intention whatsoever of ever reforming in any way, so I think you should do what you have to do, and I would rather die by electrocution than to spend the rest of my life in the penitentiary. So I'm asking very sincerely that you come back with a positive verdict for the state. That's all I have to say." In the days leading up to his execution, he was seen laughing in the holding cell that was just right outside of the death chamber, and he would tell prison employees that he was ready for death. On April 22nd of 1983, he was strapped into an electric chair known as the Yellow Mama due to the color of its paint. It was reported that when the first 30-second surge of 1900 volts was administered, the strap that was attached to his left leg broke, causing the electrode to detach and burst into sparks and flames. Witnesses had reported that smoke and sparks were seen coming from underneath the hood that was covering his head, and the room filled with the smell of burning flesh. Doctors rushed in to check on John and found that he was actually still alive and still had a heartbeat, so they didn't stop here and actually hit him with another 30-second jolt. During the second jolt, a similar thing happened, but this time it was reported that small flames and even more smoke surrounded his head and leg. After the second time, doctors walked in to check on him again, and he was still alive and still had a heartbeat, and the entire time the room was full of smoke and the smell of burning flesh. After a third and final 30-second jolt, John stopped breathing. He was pronounced dead at 8:44 p.m., which was 14 minutes after the execution had begun. I am unable to find any information on if an autopsy was done or if there were any other details on the injuries to his body, but it's safe to assume that his body was severely burned from this electrocution. The father of the victim, Edward Nassar, made this statement regarding John's execution: "We gotta have laws. We have to follow the laws of God, and we have to follow our laws. If they let him live, he's going to come back and kill. What do you do if a rat comes into your house? You kill him. I hate to feel that way, but I do."